Okay, so I want you to turn to 15.1, which is on page 545. 545, 15.1. We're not going to take any notes, but I do want you to turn to this title page because there's some vocabulary words that I think that's going to be vitally important for you to be able to be successful when you are going through these two lessons. You're going to see the word frequency, and you're going to see the word frequency table. So frequency is the number of times an event occurred. So just like frequent, how many times do you, or I could say I frequently go to Starbucks because that means I go quite often. Okay? Not frequent would be how many times it doesn't occur. So another, it happens is meaning occurs. Okay? Like I could say I am not frequent enough at the gym, or I'm not frequent enough with my exercising or eating correctly, or better yet, reading a book. I'm not very frequent about reading a book. It means it doesn't happen or occurs. Here you've got the frequency table. It's a table that uses numbers to record the data about how often something happens. So your frequency table organizes how many things occur. So if you look down here, this is a perfect example of a frequency table. You've got your title. Okay, so you have your title. Your title is bags of peanuts sold, sizes. So this is showing how frequent things are sold. The thing, if you notice, it's not organized. And so our job today is going to organize this information in what we call a frequency table. Okay? So we're taking all of the information and the frequency of something, and we're going to organize it. And if you see your title here, it's the size. You're going to organize it by size and the frequency. And that's simply the number of times you see it happening. Here we're going to have our title. So here our title would be bags of peanuts sold. Okay, and then if you look up here, you're going to have to disaggregate your data, which means look through your data. What is the smallest size we have? And that would be a small. Do we have a medium? Absolutely, we have medium. Do we have large bags? Sure, and extra large. So then your job is to go through and figure out how many smalls, the frequency, how many smalls are up here, how many mediums, how many larges. Now, if I were you, my suggestion would be this. So I would just literally mark them off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Then I would go here and go medium. 1, and I would start at a row. Just don't start randomly. I would either start at the bottom or the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Larges, starting up at the top for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Extra larges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, another way what you need to make sure you do is you need to make sure you count this as well as this to make sure that you have transferred your material or your information correctly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 7 times 4 is 28. So there should be 28 down here. So then I'm going to count this. So 5 and 6 is 11. 8 and 9 is 17. 7 and 1 is 8. 1 and 1 is 2. So I have now known... Well, school's about to start. Now I know I have transferred my information correctly. So when you're doing that today, you need to make sure you have your information here and you go back and check, because there's going to be times that it's going to be hard and you're like, oh, I don't remember if I counted that or not. Take the 30 seconds it took for you to multiply this and get your number. Take the 30 seconds it takes to add up to ensure the fact that your information is correct. Okay, I want you to look at 546. Okay, page 546. So we're going to use this information right here. It says, Lynn records the method of transportation his classmates take to school. Use the data for question 1 and 2. So the question is, and this is exactly what you need to be thinking about every time you start your frequency table. It says, what's a good title for a frequency table of this data? So what would we say? Well, this particular one, it literally has it for you. So go ahead and just use it. So transportation to school. Okay, let's go ahead and just fill that in right now. Okay. This letter B or question B, it says, what will be the first column? So this is your first column. Okay, so these are columns. Think about columns like on a house, like the White House. You know, you've got your columns in front of like the door sometimes like this. This is your columns. Okay, so the title of your first column is going to be, what could it be? So you got to think. You got to think what we're talking about here in this particular data table. So you're going to say methods of transportation, or, because that's probably the best way to say it, is your method. Method is another way for saying way. Method of transportation. Or, okay, so method or way of transporting or way of going. Okay. Then your next one is you want to name, sorry, so this would be a little ahead of myself. Methods of transportation. Then you look, and the question is, what will be the second column of the frequency table? And 9 times out of 10, guys, just like up here, okay, you've got your title, this title for this column, and this title. This one's 9 times out of 10 going to be frequency. Because since this is a frequency table, you're going to use the word frequency. And again, frequency is the same thing as how often something is happening. So the question is, how often are your method of transportation? So in other words, now it says right here, make your frequency table. So what do we have options here? We have a bus, a car, and walk. So again, it's how frequent people ride the bus, how frequent people are riding in the car, or how frequent people are walking. So again, you're just going to go, and I would start either at the top or the bottom, and you're going to count for your bus. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Car is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then finally walk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So again, you need to make sure you got your information. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 3 is 21. Then I need to count my information here. 7 and 5 is 12. 12 plus 9, 21. So I know that my information has been moved over correctly, I should say. All right, then what you're going to do is let's go ahead and look at your goal pages for 15.1. Okay? And this literally is going to step you through what we just did. So what I want you to do is I want you to press pause. I want you to do exactly what we did on this previous page, exact same questions, using this new data table, your title, what is your title, the first column, the second column, and then you're going to complete it. So go ahead and take all of this information, make this frequency table, answer these questions, press pause, and then let's check our answers. Okay, guys. So going back to looking at your answers. So your first answer was a good title, is obviously Arctic penguins. The types of penguins is going to be your first column title. Your third column, or excuse me, your second column is going to be frequency. And if you were to go through and check, you're going to go through, and it doesn't matter. I will say this. It does not matter if you have these in the same order as I do, as long as you have all 5 of them. So as long as you have them, it doesn't matter in what order, and as long as your frequency is right. Then I went through and did a 3 times 6 is 18. Went through and added them up and got 18, so I know that 18 and 18, all of my data has been correctly transcribed. Now, right here, Mr. Rexford's students recorded the polygons in a sculpture at the Modern Art Museum. Use the data for 3 and 4. Complete this frequency data table. Okay? So go ahead and complete this one and press pause, and you will check your answer with me. All right, so number 4. So once you've done this over here, you've looked at my polygons is my title, shapes is going to be this, frequency. Now again, once it doesn't matter that these are in order, as long as the numbers are correct, I add them up. 5 plus 5 is 10, 3 plus 5 is 15, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15, and 15. So I know that my data has been moved over and completed with my frequency table. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the word problems on the back. These questions are right here. It says, Milo records the types of shells he can collect on the frequency table. Collect on the Texas coast. Then he makes a frequency table to show the data. How many different types of shells? Okay, so I've got clam. Here's another clam. A conch. A whelk. A scallop. Clam is already done. Cockle has not been done. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. All right, number 6. Cameron records the types of vehicles she saw while looking out the window of her father's car. She makes a frequency table of the data. What is the frequency of the motorcycle? So question is, what's the frequency? So how often are the motorcycles occurring? Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Quite simple. Again, the vocabulary word this time is frequency. How often is something happening? So you've got this right here. Right here is your questions going along with this. Sorry. So the number of, so Joseph has a pottery booth at this craft fair. He makes a frequency table recording the types of pottery sold in one day. The number of mugs Joseph sold is 1/4 the combined of bowls and vases. So mugs, we don't know. So we know 1/4 is bowls and vases. Bowls is 12, vases is 8. So we're taking 1/4 of 20. So what does of mean? Multiply. 1/4 multiplying by 20. 20 times 1 is 20. 4 times 1 is 4. What do we call this when the larger number is on top? An improper fraction. So what's 20 divided by 4? That's 5. See, I'm telling you, you're going to see this of a lot. 1/4 of. The price of the plate is $6, and the price of a mug is $5. Oh, look, you're going to need that right here. So it's 5. So how much did Joseph collect from the plates and the mugs he sold? So mugs would be 5 times 5 is 25, and the plates would be 5 times 6 is 30. Gives me a total of $55. Okay? So again, it's all about the frequency, taking this information, moving it into a frequency table. All right, so what I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to look at 254. 254, this is going with 5.2. It says Hector has a collection of postcards. The frequency table, which is right here, shows the number of postcards he has from each country. So there's your country. The number of postcards from the United States is 3 times the number from which country. So what that's meaning is all of these, which one of these is 3 times? So in other words, 3 times this, 3 times this, 3 times this, 3 times this would equal United States. So if we were to do Japan, which is 27 times 3, 7 times 3 is 21, 6, 7, 8. That's not correct. So Japan is not correct. France, 16 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. Carry, 48. Nope. Let's try 24. 24 times 3 is 12. Carry, 72. Oh, geez, I hope it's 18. 18 times 3, and that's 54. So Canada, 3 times Canada's amount of postcards will equal the United States. Number 9, the table shows the types of sandwiches sold in a deli yesterday. How many more chicken than tuna salads were sold? How many more chicken than tuna salads? That is a simple compare, which is the same thing as subtraction. Again, so easy, some of these questions. Multi-step. Number 10. One customer bought half of the peanut butter sandwiches, so what's half of 8? 4. And half of the grilled cheese, what's half of 6? 3. Each sandwich cost $6. So how many sandwiches did he buy? He bought 4 and 3, and that gives me a total of 7. And each sandwich costs $6. So how much would that be? $42. All right, and finally, number 11. Students voted on their favorite hobby, recorded the results in a frequency table. Again, your hobby and the frequency or how often it had it. How many students voted for the 2 most popular hobby? Most popular is going to be your greatest or higher number. So our highest number is 22 and 18. I'm going to simply add. And my answer is B. Again, using and looking at the data. The frequency tables. Okay, so 15.2, is going to be your problems. You only have 11 questions. When you're done, go turn it in to the file folder and listen for your next instructions.